So this is what's left of my kale. It's not a lot, as you can see, and I've just realised it's not going to be for much longer, because if you look in here, that is a flower stalk. So as soon as that appears, it means your kale are going to be on the way out. And it's not happening in this beautiful curly kale variety yet, but it's happening in this sort of flat-leaved variety you can see in here. That's going to turn into a flower stalk, and then these ones over here, they've got all this lovely fresh new growth, and you think, oh yeah, loads more leaves. Actually, down in here, that's going to be a flower. So this is what I've got left. Not a lot of kale, so I'll be pulling those up and eating most of this over the next couple of weeks before it sort of flowers. And then last year I grew radishes down this end, and I realised that I was growing them in far too fertile soil. Now kale are big feeders, they like a lot of nutrients, so hopefully they will have taken out a lot of nutrients from the soil. So I'm going to try radishes in this end next year, and hopefully they will have... Thanks Barry. Hopefully they'll have less nutrients, and so they will bulk up and become lovely little radishes. So I thought I would just introduce you to the two newest babies. So here they are. So they are about 10 days old, and you can see this oldest one, its eyes are just starting to open. They're not quite open yet. And also I think you can see the noticeable difference between size. So this is quite normal because budgies lay their eggs every other day. So the bigger one here is 2 days older than the smaller one. But you can see just what a vast difference it is. And imagine if you now had the oldest baby and then the fourth egg would have hatched 8 days later. So that is why in some instances the younger chicks just don't survive, because they are such a disadvantage to the others. They're so much smaller. Now I'm not going to keep these guys out for too long. I want to put them back with Sunny, make sure she can brood them, keep them warm. But that is an update on these two little chicks. So this one has obviously gotten some downy feathers now, whereas this little one is still quite naked. And then in the coming weeks it will start to feather up. And we'll see what colour they're going to be. But I'm going to put them back with Sunny so they can stay nice and warm. This little yellow feather here, by the way, is actually not one of theirs. They've just got it from the nest box. So that's a little baby budgie update. Ta-da! So I have fixed the fence. Now in this house, everything is a bit of a hodgepodge. You know, I don't have the money to go and buy a brand new fence. So basically what I've used are cable ties, as you can see, and these garden uprights, and they just, the wind, prevailing wind comes that way, so it comes this way, so the fence is always pushing against this, and that's when the trellising comes off. So I've just put these uprights on this side, and I've pushed the tops into here, so the wind will be pushing them this way, and hopefully they won't be able to come over these battens. It's a quick fix. It will break again at some point, but it was just 20 quid for 5 of these actually, so I've only used 4 at the moment. The nice thing is now you can really see how this honeysuckle is starting to proliferate. I can never say that word. And so it's going to have these big leaves later on, but all of this new growth is coming, and so that's going to cover this trellising and block out all this stuff outside, and hopefully kind of cover up the hideous nature of the trellising as well. So I'm really happy to see that. And this was only a cutting last year, so to see that come to life, and that second one as well. And just now I can look down the garden, and instead of it all flopping over, it's kind of pushed back and opened up a bit. So I am just hanging out in the bird room tonight. You can see Pluto's cell up there. He has been flying around the room, and I've chopped up some Brussels sprouts and left them down here, and they were running around here, but he's decided to go back in. I wanted to let the babies out as well, to get them to have a fly around. They're really a bit scatty at the moment, a bit scared of me, so I wanted them to kind of be able to fly around me and just get used to life in and out of their flight. And I cannot wait for Sunny's new babies in this to fledge. A, so I can see them, but B, so I can paint this flight, because it looks so horrible I'm going to give it a nice paint of white emulsion, clean it up, make it easier to wipe down as well, and also it will set the birds off with more, you'll be able to see the colours more. So the troublesome twins are up there. That's the oldest and the youngest. I think these guys are both boys. They're just mucking around. And then I think I have a hen as well, and she is up here, and she's been gnawing at that really bad wallpaper line. So she is not keen on coming down at the moment. But the two little boys are kind of running around on the top. I'm not going to force them to go back in. I'm sure they'll go back in on their own at some point. They are funny little things. And they love exploring. Very inquisitive. So yeah, so I'm just sat here kind of enjoying the birds at the moment. In a couple of weeks' time, it's the bird show, so I'm going to go and get a couple more budgies. Hello. So that on the left, that's the oldest, and on the right is the youngest, and then the other third, which I think is a hen, is in the middle. So today I'm actually doing a little bit of gardening with the help of noisy Barry. So obviously the other day I got this fencing put back up so it's not dropped all over, so I'm just clearing out this bed, literally just using a hand fork, and I'm just scratching off the top surface of all the leaves and things that the worms haven't come up and got and pulled back down into the earth. Now you might remember a few weeks ago I was here with this Brinsea. It's a lovely shady plant, and I noticed there were tons of aphids on it. So I'm trying to get rid of this stuff so I can put it on the compost heap, and so that the frost, the remaining frost of the year, can get in and kill little bugs off. And it's really nice to do this as well, because not only could you get to turn over the soil and see the quality and stuff, but you see little things. So I found some little crocuses down here. The geums are starting to appear, and I found some fresh shoots of the honeysuckle that's coming out here, and over here it's coming out right down here at the base, look. And then there's lovely lambs here coming up here, and I've just discovered a little aquilegia, so it's nice to get out in the garden, do a little bit clearing. It's not going to look fabulous for several months until things have started growing up again, but it's just nice to see some soil and think about what we're going to be planting this year. I thought I would give you a quick seedy update. So here are the dill. They're not doing brilliantly, but you can see we've got lots of first true leaves coming through now. So they will, I mean, they're going to grow slowly anyway, so it's going to be a few weeks, a month, 6 weeks maybe, before they become nice little plants. So they are the dill over in this tray, and then up here we have a few more dill. You can see we've lost a couple. This one's died for some reason. But yes, we've got a few dill here, so I think we've got 10 dill, and then these are our coriander, and they're doing really well. So they're actually starting to produce their second leaves now. So we've got their first true leaves, and they're starting to thicken up and put in their second leaves. Now, if you saw the parsley video on Friday, you'll know that I buried the stem, and these had grown really quite leggy before I even started, so I could only bury the stem up to here. So we have still got some long stems. So what I will do is, when they are transplanted outside, they will get buried even more deeper. But for now, I'm just really, really happy. We've got loads of little seedlings on the way, and they should grow up to be nice, sturdy little plants. Well, I am super excited because look, here are quail eggs, and they're due to hatch in just 2 or 3 days. So we're going into lockdown now. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this. Now this incubator is very easy to use, but it doesn't come with thermometers, and the thermometer always tends to fall out. So we can take away the dividers now, which is great. They were just in there really so the eggs rotated properly. So here are all of our lovely little eggs, ready to pip and come out. Now, the other thing with these incubators, this is an Octo 10, is they have these little humidity trays. So I dry hatch, which means, or I dry incubate rather, so which means I don't put any water in throughout the incubation period. I can't get this. Let's get a pair of tweezers. And these channels are then used to pull up the humidity when they're hatching. However, the problem is little quail get in here and drown. So I have literally just cut up, you know, those kitchen sponges. So I push those in there. So what I do is I'll fill this up with a little bit of water first. Let's see what I'm doing. Put a tad of water in there. And then let's soak these sponges. Because otherwise, what happens is you have all these gorgeous little quail hatch and you're so excited, and you come down in the morning and they've all gone and blooming drowned themselves. Now, I'll put that like that. I kind of try and top it up with as much water as possible because you want the humidity high. But try not to get too much on the eggs because the eggs don't want to be sitting in water. But a bit of surface water here is all right. And then we know the temperature's fine, so we might leave that incubator out because otherwise it's going to get stuck to baby chicks. And then pop that in. And now the waiting begins for the first signs of babies. So that is a great end to the week, and hopefully we'll have Valentine's quail chicks.